Part 1. Standards for implementing tiered electricity pricing for residential electricity consumption. When we understand our electricity usage category and amount, does it mean that the electricity bill amount is clear? Not necessarily. Wait a moment. We take residential electricity as an example to explain. Originally, the household electricity bill was calculated by multiplying the amount of electricity used by the price. That was it. However, according to the spirit of the National Development and Reform Commission 2011, number 2617, residential electricity has implemented a tiered pricing system. What does this mean? It means, first, the single form of residential electricity price has been changed to a segmented pricing system based on user consumption. Segmented pricing, the electricity price increases in a tiered manner as the electricity consumption increases. This is a pricing mechanism. Residential users are generally considered as one household per residence, corresponding to one property certificate. For those without a property certificate, the electricity meter installed by the power supply company is used as the unit. The owner of the property should be one of the members of the household register. Renting another person's house is not considered as a basis for combined meter electricity. Part 2. Classification of tiered electricity prices. Monthly tier, yearly tier. Monthly tiered electricity price. Billing cycle is 1 month. The electricity consumption is divided into tiers and calculated accordingly. The current tiered electricity consumption, if the billing cycle is 2 months, the monthly tiered electricity consumption standard is multiplied by 2 to calculate the current tiered electricity consumption. For residential users who have new installations, account cancellations, transfers, etc., if the actual electricity usage days are less than 1 month, the tiered electricity consumption standard for 1 month is used to calculate the current tiered electricity consumption. If the electricity usage exceeds 1 month but is less than 2 months, the tiered electricity consumption standard for 2 months is used to calculate the current tiered electricity consumption. Yearly tiered electricity price. The annual tiered electricity consumption standard is used, and the electricity consumption of the previous periods of the current year for residential users who have new installations, account cancellations, transfers, etc. If the actual electricity usage days are less than 1 year, the annual tiered electricity consumption standard is divided by 12 and then multiplied by the actual number of months used to calculate the tiered electricity consumption. Part 3. Gradual energy grading. Tiered electricity consumption ranges. The first tier electricity consumption is 2,160 kilowatt-hour per year or less. It adds 180 kilowatt-hour per month or less. The second tier electricity consumption is 2,161 kilowatt-hour to 4,200 kilowatt-hour per year. It adds 181 kWh to 350 kWh per month. The third tier electricity consumption is 4,201 kWh per year or more. It adds more than 350 kWh per month. Part 4. Electricity Price Standards. The first tier, monthly average electricity consumption is 180 kWh or less, 0.60 RMB per kWh. The second tier, monthly average electricity consumption is 181 to 350 kWh, 0.65 RMB per kWh. The third tier, monthly average electricity consumption is 351 kWh or more, 0.90 RMB per kWh. Combined meter users do not implement the residential tiered electricity price for now, 0.62 RMB per kWh. Non-residential users who implement residential electricity prices do not implement the residential tiered electricity price for now, 0.62 RMB per kWh. Part 5. Peak Valley Time of Use Electricity Price. Scope, time periods, and prices. Users who implement residential tiered electricity prices and apply for time of use pricing need to provide the following materials. First, the contract holder's original resident ID or other valid documents and copies. Second, if someone else is authorized to handle it, the authorized person's original resident ID or other valid documents and copies. Implementation scope. On the basis of implementing tiered electricity prices, time of use pricing can also be implemented. Whether to implement time of use pricing is up to the resident's choice. Generally, it cannot be changed within a year. Time periods. Peak, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Off-peak, 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. the next day. The price fluctuation ratio between peak and off-peak periods is 1 to 4. Time of use pricing. The peak period price increases by 0.03 RMB per kWh, making it 0.63 RMB per kWh. The off-peak period price decreases by 0.12 RMB per kWh, making it 0.48 RMB per kWh. Part 6. Ladder fee calculation rules. First, determination of tiered electricity consumption. For a normal annual cycle, the monthly tiered electricity consumption standard is multiplied by 12 to calculate the current tiered electricity consumption. Second, determination of tiered electricity consumption for periods less than or exceeding one implementation cycle due to policy trends such as the implementation of tiered electricity prices, standard adjustments, or new installations, account cancellations, transfers, reclassifications, etc. The tiered electricity consumption is calculated based on the actual number of months used. Less than 1 month is calculated as 1 month. The first tier electricity consumption is calculated as 180 kWh times the actual months of use. The second tier electricity consumption is between the first and third tiers. The third tier electricity consumption is calculated as 350 kilowatt-hour times the actual months of use. Part 7. Principles for calculating peak valley time of use electricity charges. Calculate the electricity bill according to the principle of time sharing first. The principle of the back ladder. Calculate electricity bills. First, follow the instructions. Electricity consumption during peak and valley periods. Calculation of time of use. Electricity price standards. Electricity bill for all electricity consumption. Follow again. Second tier. Third level incremental electricity price standard. Calculate separately. Second tier. The third level of electricity, incremental electricity bill. 3 parts of electricity bill. The sum is total electricity bill for users. Part 8. Calculation formula for peak valley time of use electricity charges. Total electricity consumption equals peak electricity plus off-peak electricity. Basic electricity bill equals peak electricity times peak price plus off-peak electricity times off-peak price. Second tier incremental electricity bill equals second tier electricity times second tier incremental price. Third tier incremental electricity bill equals third tier electricity times third tier incremental price. Total electricity bill equals basic electricity bill plus second tier incremental electricity bill plus third tier incremental electricity bill.